Hold on. Let me make sure you can hear me. Hold on. Let me hear. This hasn't opened up yet for me. Top chat, live chat. There's a pinned question at the top. Why isn't it opening? There it goes.
Just one more screenshot, and this SOP is finally done.
Here. This hasn't opened up yet for me. Okay, so hi. So we're going to talk about missing Nancy Guthrie, Samantha Guthrie's mother, an NBC correspondent. She was supposed to be covering the Olympics. She pulled out of that because of this, obviously. And now the newest news on this is that the FBI is investigating a new message. So it says that they're probing the authenticity. See, but this is another thing. There's so many people just playing with these people, trying to get something, some ransom in Bitcoin or some this and some that. So really, what can you even believe? There's already people arrested with the other ransom notes and stuff, but, that's not going to stop. So everybody thinks they're smarter. So anyway, they're probing the authenticity of a new message. It was sent to KOLD about Nancy. It included sensitive information, but no deadline. So meanwhile, the search is continuing. Authorities resumed examining Guthrie's home and her neighborhood. There is a $50,000 reward for information offered by the FBI. So one of the imposters was charged. A man was released on bond after being charged with sending the Guthrie family an illegitimate ransom threat. FBI said he was trying to profit from the case, and there was no evidence to connect him at all to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. Okay, now we know the clues that were found. Blood was found on Guthrie's porch, which belonged to her. And a front door camera missing. Camera also detected motion around 2 a.m. Sunday, around the time that her pacemaker last pinged her phone. Then there was a second deadline mentioned in purported ransom notes, but it's looking like those are all not real, right? Okay, so this is, in case you've been under a rock for a little while, this is Nancy Guthrie's home, which I'm going to pull over here. It looks like, I understand, but I don't know, it looks almost like like an institutional type building, doesn't it? Okay. Anyway, I know they were up on the roofs looking around. Let's see, they had drones swarming Friday evening. She lives near Tucson, Arizona. Let's see, FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department resumed searching the property. Let's see, the woman is 84 years old. Now, they say that she doesn't have any dementia or anything like that, but she has a mobility issue, and she was also on medication that allegedly they said if she didn't have it within like that night, it was going to be really bad. Well, it's already been 6 going on 7 days, right? So, let's see. The investigation's being led by the FBI. Earlier this week, several media outlets, including TMZ and KOLD, received these messages demanding millions of dollars in Bitcoin as a ransom for the return of Nancy Guthrie, but they didn't give any proof of life or anything tangible that they really had Nancy Guthrie. So the new message, the first ransom note sent to media outlets earlier this week included 2 deadlines, one at 5 p.m. Thursday and another set for Monday. A second message on Friday included sensitive information, no deadline, and did not appear to be for a ransom. And that was sent to KOLD, and the anchor there, Mary Coleman, she said she saw both notes without providing more details about the second message. She said she thinks the sender made an effort to include details they think will prove to investigators it's the same person or people who sent the first. The fake ransom note, there was a man charged in that. He was released on a $20,000 bond following a court appearance on Friday. Derek Kalela, 42, did not enter a plea. He is not allowed to contact any victims or witnesses related to the case, as he is accused of sending a threat to the daughter and son-in-law of Guthrie shortly after the family posted a plea for help on social media. DNA evidence at the home was submitted as part of the investigation. It came back quickly, revealing the blood on the porch belonged to Nancy Guthrie. And then again, her pacemaker last pinged her phone at 2 a.m. on Sunday. Okay, everybody is frustrated that there are no answers. The hours are passing, no tangible leads there right at all. Everybody's frustrated. Her neighbors, one of them, Shirley Harvey, said that, hold on, let's get what she said. People, and I quote, people are in shock because we still don't know where she is. Helicopters were flying low overhead. Police were scouring the secluded Catalina Foothills community. She never would have imagined a crime like Guthrie's possible, an abduction taking place in the neighborhood. She said she finds herself ruminating often on the circumstances around 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, saying, and I quote, "It's very unnerving thing to happen to somebody, especially an elderly woman." Now, the surveillance cameras at people's homes seemingly have not captured any footage of the abduction, which is sad and frustrating. She pointed out many cameras are really designed to see who's coming into your house. Many homes in the area do not face the street. It doesn't surprise me that there has not been good video surveillance. Okay. Here's investigators on the roof of the home there. Let's see here. Drone footage shows gloved investigators buzzing over Nancy Guthrie's property Friday evening, placing evidence markers and climbing on the flat, stark white roof of her home as the sunset flashlight beams fanned across the landscape. This earlier this evening, Friday evening, as they were peering into the bushes and scoured the ground. I'm sure they used those thermal things too, right? Probably to no avail. FBI and Sheriff's Office have resumed searches at Guthrie's home and in the surrounding area as her disappearance stretches into its 6th day, now into the 7th day, okay? Neighbors say they've actually been searching areas around the home, knocking on doors, retrieving, re-interviewing neighbors, asking for any kind of evidence or video. Investigators have been going door to door to speak to residents. For some residents, especially those that knew Nancy Guthrie, it feels surreal. Okay, a neighbor, Laura Gargano, says, "I wish there was something more I can do." She's lived around the corner from Nancy Guthrie for 11 years, and she said, and I quote, "It almost feels like time is standing still right now, that it almost feels inappropriate to go on and continue with our lives." Though investigators have returned to Guthrie's home at least twice this week, this evening's law enforcement presence is much heavier than it has been in previous days. The surge in investigative presence comes just hours after local TV KOLD said they received that new message about Nancy Guthrie, which is being examined by the FBI. TMZ says, sadly, well, not sadly, I shouldn't say that guy looked sad on there, that he has not received any new communication. Harvey Levin. Let's see here. So I want to know. Why another, and I've only seen it on two other, one, no, I'm going to say one other. How come Ashley Banfield said all of this stuff that nobody else, no press conference, no other media station has said? And that was that the son-in-law was a suspect, that they've taken a car in for evidence, but yet there's nothing else coming from any kind of credible source besides Ashley Banfield, if you call her a credible source, is saying this. And that, what is up with that? Does anybody know what is up with that? And if anybody wants to call in about this, I'll take call-ins. Okay, so let me get over here and start reading your chat. Chrissy, hi Chrissy. If anybody wants to call in, please call in. Sandy Ellens, hi Sandy Ellens, how are you? You know what hold on a minute, guys. Just hang on for 1 minute, because... Oh, shoot. What's going on here? Why do I see him on the screen? I'm confused. That was really super weird. I saw Peyton on the screen on this live. I don't know why Peyton was on the screen in this live, but he was. Okay. Sandy Ellens. Anybody wants to call and let me know? Let's see. Hit that like. Thank you, Zigzag. What Zigzag said, Chrissy? Oh no, Scooter said. Heart made wise. Hi. Yeah, I hope your husbands and you are all on the mend. Does anybody have any idea? Anybody? Anybody anywhere? Why was it only said on that one? Well, if I'm wrong, and then said on some other broadcast, like I don't mean a YouTube or just repeating it. What is up with that son-in-law business? Does anybody know? And if anybody wants to call in, let me know. Does anybody know about the son-in-law? And why they said he was a suspect, and why they said something about a car being taken in, and why they said this stuff. And yet the sister, after that, made a plea with her brother and the other daughter, Samantha. What is up with that? Is that just some kind of sensationalism? Is there truth to that? What is going on? If there is truth to that, why is no one else reporting it? I'm good, says Sandy. Sandy Ellens. That's good, Sandy. I'm glad you're good. Hello. Does anybody hear me? Or are we really delayed? Somebody said I have to pick like ultra low latency or something, because if its chat is so delayed that... Hi, little lady. Does anybody know about that, or I'm just going to go look myself? I have. I just thought maybe some of you have been following this like a little bit like more. Like I know people like obsessively following this. Let me see. Okay. Let me see why. Okay, let's see. Ashley Banfield reported on her podcast that Tommaso Cioni, the son-in-law of missing Nancy Guthrie, was a prime suspect. Based on information from, she said, a law enforcement source. She alleged that the source claimed Nest cameras at the home were smashed and that Cioni had a connection to the case. However, local law enforcement denied having named a suspect and slammed the reporting as reckless. Okay. Banfield maintained she had an ironclad source, despite Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano stating no specific information had been identified. Banfield claimed that her source indicated the person responsible for the crime knew where the cameras were, implicating Cioni. Despite the backlash and the potential legal threats from the family, Banfield continued to stand by her reporting. The sheriff's rebuttal, Sheriff Nano stated in a press conference that it was reckless to report someone as a suspect when they could be a victim. Banfield made these allegations on her podcast, Drop Dead Serious, in February of 2026. Now, it's very well that it could be true, but it's very well also that they may not want that information out, which would hurt the family and hurt everybody. So yeah, that does seem like reckless reporting if they're saying don't put this information out there and the family's upset about that. That should be paramount. So, but like I said, to a lot of people, it's who's got the new scoop, who's got the new story is all that matters. It's not about the right thing or victims or anything with a lot of people. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that is exactly what she's doing, but I'm saying that's the way it is a lot with everybody and their brother on social media now, trying to get the scoop on something, right? Even if it jeopardizes a case. So again, that's why that she's the only one that's been saying that, and then other people that have taken that from there. Okay. We're going to stay to the official sources, especially with the family not wanting that. Let's see now. That blood in the steps, was it just there? If you were there droplets? You would think if she was bleeding like that, there would be droplets to the car or something, right? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go to X and see if there's something here with X. Okay, here's something. There is something here. Hang on. Late breaking news 25 minutes ago. A car was towed away as evidence from Nancy Guthrie's home. And that is coming from a verified news source. Let's see. That also is new details from the second note. So there is, and they have a video of the car being towed away. It looks like a blue. Let me see. It almost looked like a PT Cruiser, but it can't be that. Let me see what's going on here. But yeah, there was a car towed away.
I want to break.
Yeah, the car towed away from her. It says law enforcement tows car from Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood. Let me see what this says. Okay, let's see what else we have. People are speculating about Annie, again, having a black lip and a black eye. Speculation is high. The speculation is high. Authorities have now towed the car that was in Nancy Guthrie's garage. Okay, so it is a blue car, a small little type of SUV. It looks like it was in her garage. And they've towed that. A tow truck was seen. This is all happening in the last hour. A tow truck was seen removing a vehicle from the driveway of Nancy Guthrie's home as investigators continue searching for answers in the disappearance of the 84-year-old woman. So yeah, there's a lot of videos of those tow trucks taking that vehicle from the garage. Let's see. Now, someone is saying, now I'm not even going to get onto that. That's... Let's see here. Rooftop. Okay, something. New developments. Let's see what we got. So it looks like the biggest stuff right now is the car being towed and that note, but I don't think that note is anything because I think it's just somebody being a jerk again. That's what I think it is. Now, somebody's saying that FBI agents, okay, this is I've seen a few people saying this. FBI agents took custody of a camera from Nancy Guthrie's roof that they weren't aware of. I don't know if that's true or not. But I've seen it on several things here. Let's see. Trying to see if there's anything else here. Never a car. Someone said they were looking for a car that was last seen at a Circle K store. I'm wondering if that was the car that was in Nancy's garage, or is that the car that they're looking for, that white van the neighbor saw Wednesday or Thursday near her house before she went missing. And they said they are towing away what appears to be the car that was in Nancy Guthrie's garage. And let's see. Pima County Sheriff's Office has people are saying the Pima County Sheriff's Office is failing. Talking about her taking an Uber to dinner. But the blood is like the most concerning. Is there blood droplets out to the car? Like what about the blood? Right? What about the blood? Okay, I'm going to come back to the chat and see if maybe you guys have something to say. Let's see. What do you guys have? Oopsie. What did I just do with the chat? You guys have anything to say here? Yes, Sandy, after they all had dinner. The son-in-law was the last to see her, dropped her off. Yeah, that's what I've heard, right? Hi, Megan Els. Hi, it's just me. Anybody else does anybody else have any ideas of what could have happened, where that blood is from and everything? Anybody, anywhere? It's weird for just a couple of droplets to be there, right? Someone had to be. What the hell, my lips? So they have like stuff on them. Okay. Isn't that kind of strange? Because if somebody's bleeding that much, that there's a concentration of droplets, well, there's going to be more down the stairs unless somebody's got them cleaned up. Even if they cleaned up, they put luminol, they'll see it. There's got to be a trail somewhere. You're not just going to all of a sudden be bleeding and it's not leading in the house or out of the house. They said it looked like a bloody nose. Okay. They said it looked like a bloody nose. Was she prone to bloody noses? The fact that about an hour into the reporting of a second note being sent, a TV station then swarmed the house again. Yeah, apparently they went up on a roof because either the note or something mentioned a roof camera or something mentioned a roof camera. Allegedly. That, that's what they're saying. That there had something to do with a roof camera. But who knows? A bloody nose from being struck. But why would she just be bleeding in that one spot? Strange. Okay. Very strange. Let me see something else, please. Oh boy. So Little John's son was pulled from a pond. Sad. New video. Okay, so they made that video. The family did. The three of them. But this is so weird. Okay, so let me see something. Well, I mean, Nancy Guthrie was dropped off at her home by her son-in-law, Tommaso Cioni, and let's see what happened there. On Saturday, before she went missing overnight. They were the last to see her. It was the daughter and the son-in-law, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Let's see here. What the heck is up with this? We're trying to get this on here. We can't get it on there. That's crazy. Trying to get our missing person picture on there. What is up with this? Why won't this? Oh my goodness. Trying to share your missing person picture here. There you go. Okay. There it is there. Vulnerable adult, Pima County Sheriff's Office, 84 years old. 5'5", 150 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes, last seen on the evening of January 31st, 2026 at her residence on East Skyline Drive and North Campbell Avenue. Unknown what clothing she may be wearing. Again, there's a $50,000 FBI reward now on that. And let me see what else we have on. Let's get the... Okay, so aside from Savannah, and I'm sorry if I said Samantha, my mind is mush. If I said Samantha before, and I think I did, it's Savannah Guthrie. Not Samantha, and I believe I said Savannah. I mean, I think, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I said Samantha, and it's Savannah. So I apologize for that. I'm correcting the mistake. And then I have that lady that says I have to get rid of the live if I made a mistake. Okay. Anyway, Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mother, so she has two daughters, Savannah and Annie, and she has a son, Cameron. He's a retired F-16 fighter pilot, and Annie Guthrie is a writer and a poet. Annie's a writer and a jeweler from Tucson. She has written a book on jewelry design along with a book of poems. Annie also works as the marketing and publicity director for Core Press, in addition to running her own commission-only jewelry business at Splinter Brothers and Sisters, that sounds weird, warehouse, Splinter. Tommaso Cioni is the husband of Nancy Guthrie's oldest daughter, Annie. He appears to be a 6th grade science and biology teacher. Okay, and one of their, appears to be Nancy Guthrie's niece, posted that Annie and Tommy are amazing people, dedicated parents who also love and care for Nancy on a daily basis. Savannah Guthrie was born in Melbourne, Australia, where her father, Charles Guthrie, was working at the time. The family then relocated to Tucson when she was 2 years old. Okay, now let me go to... Hi, Pepper Shake. How are you? How's it going? Pepper Shake says, let's see. What is Pepper Shake in here saying? Pepper Shake is saying UHP pacemaker wasn't pinging only because it was out of range, not because her heart stopped. And then Pepper Shake said, Sandy Ellens, you think if that was the case, wouldn't there be footprints in the blood? And Sandy said, what did Sandy say? Let's see. Sandy said, hi, Sandra Voss, how are you? Hi, Nora Woods, how are you? Hi, everybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I'm trying to see what Sandra said that Pepper Shake is saying. Something about Sandy Ellens saying something. Oh, there she is. Nancy Gray said they were straight down drops like she was standing. Maybe they picked her up after that. Huh. Could be, but Nancy Grace has been known to get things wrong, too. Hi, Louis. How are you? I don't know about the cameras. Good to see you, Louis. I feel that everything didn't go as planned, and she died, and now they don't know what to do. But why would some strangers come in there and take her? Like, why? Do you know what? Why? What would be the reason that they would do that? Like, you know what I mean? You've got to look like, why would there be a reason? Was there a burglary or something in her house? Was all her jewelry taken or stuff like that? What was the reason? Why would someone do this? Why did... I don't... It doesn't just look like a random act, does it really? I don't think it does. That's my opinion. Usually A lot of times it's because somebody's is involved. They know something. Somebody knows something, or somebody's involved personally somehow. And let's see here. Let's see what else we can find out, okay? Let's see if there was any. Let's see. So it's saying, it looks like the only blood that they're saying was on that little porch. Just like a little stoop kind of a thing, right? And they're not saying like there was blood. They haven't said, at least, that there was blood loss inside. The blood found near the front entry of Nancy Guthrie's home has been identified as hers. Savannah Guthrie, his mother has been missing. Let me see here. Sheriff Chris Nano said forensic analysis determined the blood found near Nancy Guthrie's entryway was hers, but DNA analysis of the other evidence found at the home remains pending. We believe Nancy is still out there, but he shared concerns for her health and her well-being. We know she is in need of daily medication, and we know that this is day 4 or 5. Well, now it's longer than that. And we still don't know that she's getting her medication. This in itself can prove fatal. Savannah Guthrie and her siblings released a message the night before on social media in an attempt to contact the person or people responsible for the kidnapping. And during the press conference, FBI officials said they have been working with the Guthrie family to produce the message after receiving ransom demands that included details not disclosed to the public, indicating they were genuine. But then we know they weren't because the one guy was arrested, right? In a nearly 4-minute video on Wednesday evening that was posted to Instagram, the family said that they are ready to talk to people holding their mother, but they want proof she's alive. We live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know without a doubt that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. During Thursday's press conference, law enforcement officials said they needed something more than a video to determine if Nancy is still alive because the prevalence of deep fake videos and other AI tools. Here's a more complete timeline. Okay, after going to a family member's house for dinner and games, Nancy returned home via a ride-share driver around 9:45 p.m. local time on Saturday. Wait a minute, I thought, now, how come everybody said her son-in-law brought her home? Did she go home with a ride-share, or did her son-in-law bring her home? That's not what it says here. It says investigators say they now have a more complete timeline of when Nancy Guthrie disappeared, saying that they believe someone kidnapped her in the early hours of Sunday, February 1st. After going to a family member's house for dinner and games, Nancy returned home via a ride-share service around 9:45 p.m. local time Saturday. Her garage door opened and closed a few minutes later, and it's believed she got inside her house without issue. Around 1:45 a.m., the doorbell camera attached to Nancy's house was disconnected. Officials said doorbell cameras are often hardwired into the home's electrical supply, and a disconnect could mean the camera began operating on its battery backup. At 2:12 p.m., the camera's built-in software detected something in frame, but the device did not save the footage. Law enforcement said it could be a person or even an animal that triggered the device. By 2:28 p.m., the pacemaker app on Nancy's phone indicated it had disconnected from the device. Most pacemaker apps connect with in-body devices through a wireless connection that requires them to be close to the device. Sheriff's officials said the window indicates when Nancy was most likely taken, that window of time. I think that those times speak for themselves, said the Nanu. Now, 4 days after she was reported missing, now it's longer than that, okay. The race is on to find her. Let's see, the imposter ransom note, we know that. So why is everybody saying that her son-in-law drove her home when it said she took an Uber home? See what I mean? There's all kinds of information floating around. What is correct and what is not? They said an Uber dropped her home, not her son-in-law. So little lady says someone might have been in her house when she was dropped off. Lewis says, I feel bad. The guy didn't know how bad was her health. I feel that bad guy didn't know how bad was her health. That is so weird because when it happened, I remember reading that she had dinner with her daughter and son-in-law. Well, maybe she was at their house, but she took a Uber home, it says, and that her son-in-law had taken her home. But it's probably their house that she had dinner at, but it said she took a rideshare service home. So let's see something. Now, could she have said something to this rideshare driver? I'm not, like, hey, I'm alone, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, just let me in, just make sure I get into the garage before you leave because who knows? I'm alone, I don't know. I'm alone. I don't know. Could something have happened there? I'm sure they've already interviewed the rideshare driver. That would be very easy to figure that out, right? So, but could she have told somebody? But again, the person that went in there knew where those cameras were and all of that makes it sound like a person that's been to that house multiple times. Doesn't it? Hi, John. Hi, John Feldman. I thought Uber picked her up. Yeah, hold on a minute. I'm going to go and check that again. But that was a verified source there. Hold on. Let me check it again, okay? Okay, let's see. Here's a timeline. It says, at 1:47 a.m., her doorbell camera was disconnected. At 2:12, home software. Okay, but where's the... Let's get what she did up to them. We want to see what happened to her before that, not at 1:47. We want to see what happened before. So we need her timeline for Saturday night. Right? Okay, let's see. All right, here we go. Now, again, they're starting Sunday, February 1st. No, they're starting with that. Now, let's go. Now, someone who attends church with Nancy called the family to report that the 84-year-old never made it to services. That was the next day. Okay. So, okay, here we are. 5:32 p.m., Nancy travels to local family's home. 9:48 p.m., this is January 31st. Now, here it says family drops Nancy off at home and garage door opens. This is crazy. Was it family? Or let's see, this drives me crazy. I'm gonna find this out now. Okay, let's see. Now here it says here, Nancy Guthrie used a rideshare service, Uber, to travel to her daughter's home for dinner at 5:32. However, she was dropped off back at her own Tucson home by a family member at 9:48. Now, that one's saying she had an Uber there, family member home. Let's see what else we can find. Authorities located and spoke with the Uber driver. Okay, here, let's see this. The timeline provided by Arizona law enforcement is the most precise. Let's see. And they are saying that at 5:32 p.m., Nancy traveled with a rideshare to a local family house. At 9:48, family dropped her off. At 9:50, her garage door closes. At 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects. At 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on the camera. At 2:28 a.m., the pacemaker app shows disconnect from the phone. At 11:56 a.m., family checks on Guthrie. 12:03 p.m., this is all February 1st, 911 call to Pima County Sheriff's Department, and 12:15 p.m., patrol arrives. Authorities located and spoke with the Uber driver who took Guthrie to her daughter's house. He did not elaborate on what investigators learned. Guthrie's family dropped her back at the house at 9:48 p.m. when the garage door opened. The garage door closed 2 minutes later. See what I mean? You've got to really fact check. Even verified sources have the wrong information up there. It's crazy. The Guthrie family checked on her at 11:56 after she didn't show up Sunday morning for church services. The family placed a 911 call. Okay. Okay. So then they towed the car tonight. Let's see what else we have. Okay. So someone else, they're offering in a $5,000 reward in addition. Okay. The car that was towed away as evidence. Let's see. And then, so that's the only kind of new news is that, let's see. And then the blood droplets, not spatter. People are talking about, I don't know, let's see, that someone is out searching in the Buenos Aires National Wildlife Refuge. I don't know. No suspect, no person of interest, and growing speculation online. The rumors. So, yeah. Close-up of a camera attached to a solar panel. Let's see. Someone's saying FBI agents were spotted at Savannah Guthrie's sister's home. Okay. See, this is what the other ones had said, that police have seized and impounded Annie Guthrie's car, and her husband is their prime suspect. That was reported by, again, Ashley Banfield, and has not been verified by anything and called fake news by the police. The police said that that's not true, that he's not the suspect. So we're, I don't know what's the deal with that. Well, I'm looking. The blood is there's a little bit of a trail of it. But it's on the front. So let me see what you guys are saying now. Okay. So let's see. You recently heard they dropped her off again. Yeah, they did, apparently. There's just so much crazy information out there. Could someone have tossed the camera onto the roof and a drone saw it up there? I don't think so. I don't know. It could be, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Why couldn't the family pick her up? John, I don't know. Maybe they were cooking a really huge dinner and they couldn't do it. I don't know. whoever did this is going to pay. You have similar cameras and you can plug the receiver inside or shut them off with the app. Yeah, and they should go to a cloud or something, but what I think they did, whoever it is knows about that, and I don't know what they did. They did something ahead of time, right? Did the lady really get kidnapped? What do you mean by that? Why does it look like, I don't know, like there's something like, why does my lips look like discolored or something? I don't know what the hell is going on with them. I don't know what the hell the deal is. Okay. All I can say is there's an 84-year-old woman with a pacemaker and heart meds that was left behind, and a missing ring cam, and her blood on the ground. An old woman didn't just wander off. Absolutely, yeah, she's somewhere, right? I don't know. Let's see if there's anything else, huh? Okay, let's see this now. Okay, so this is another timeline. I'm just trying to see this one. This one, yeah, this one says she takes an Uber to the family's home. Okay, and she's dropped off. So that's going to be the correct. And then the doorbell camera being disconnected at 1:47. And at 2:12, the camera's software detect movement, but there's no video. Huh. Okay. And then other than that, other than getting the blood and getting a DNA on it, what really do they have in almost a week, right? Let's see. Not too much. No sign. They got the new note, but those notes, I don't put anything in those notes. Those notes I just believe are crazy stuff. Let me go to one other thing that I wanted to go to. Hang on a moment. Hang on 1 second here. Let's take a look at something. Okay, so they're towing away what appears to be the car that was in Nancy's garage. Like that. Oh, let's see. People are saying the crime scene is so compromised. There's been reporters all over it. Okay, now listen to this one. This is from 52 minutes ago. Apparently, is Harvey Levin from TMZ. Let me see. Okay, take this with a grain of salt because this has to be verified, but it says that TMZ founder Harvey Levin is coming out with a chilling new development, saying that he analyzed the ransom note. He said he's read it 20 times, and he started connecting the time frame that they gave in terms of how long it would take to return her to Tucson. It became obvious that they would be the circle where authorities would focus, but based on everything that's happening, I'm believing that if this letter is legit, Nancy is not that far away from Tucson. Oh my gosh, this is such a joke. Yeah, they'll report on anything. Okay. So now, okay. 4 hours ago, the vehicle of interest and a new camera, it says, was recovered in Nancy Guthrie's case, and that camera was mounted on the roof. That's what it's saying here, okay? That they found another camera. Someone said it could be an old, inactive camera. Let's see. The Nests were not on a subscription and they didn't record. That's what they're saying, okay? If people here, I don't know. This, again, grain of salt. Apparently a car at a Circle K. I don't know. There's so much crap going around. People are saying, was it a camera or does it look like a spotlight? It's on an outbuilding, not the main house. But this is all not coming from law enforcement yet, so just understand that. Okay, let's see here. Law enforcement denies these claims. Yeah, the law enforcement, that's what this Ashley Banfield stuff. Okay, but it is correct that a vehicle was towed out of her garage tonight. Okay. Appears to be the only. Brian Enton said yesterday, February 6th, something interesting is happening outside the house of Nancy Guthrie, and said that media was pushed back behind orange cones because investigators needed room to do their investigation. Let's see. So yeah, there's multiple news sources showing the car towed, and there is looks like there's something being taken off the roof of an outbuilding or something, but who knows if it's working? Who knows if it would even see anything where it was? Other people are calling this whole thing, there's so much going on. A conspiracy, a distraction, something to keep them away from other things that are being released and talked about. It's just crazy. People are saying we can get the president of Venezuela, but we can't get an 84-year-old woman in Tucson. We can't find her. It is crazy if you think about it, isn't it? Okay. Let me see where you guys are. Okay, here you are. Here you are. I found you guys. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat, all right? You guys are saying, what are you saying? Let's see. Barbie, hi, how are you? Good to see you, Barbie. All right, so let me see. John says, thank you for being live. No problem, John. Happy to be here for you. There's nothing on the camera, but someone disconnected the camera. He used an app. He was already in the house. It sounds like they knew. I don't know, right? Where's her phone? Was her Apple Watch left at the house too? I think they searched the daughter's house. Yeah, they may have, or they may have went to get permission to take the car. He could only put tape on the camera, Lewis says. UHP is all I can say. This is an 84-year-old woman. Blah blah blah. Right. John says sources say that the family of Savannah is exploring possible legal action. Yeah, John, because if that does, I would be pissed too. You see what I mean? That, I think, is not okay, especially if the family said, stop it, right? And if they're disrupting an investigation, then the reporters have gone too far. You know what I mean? And if it's your family that they're hindering the investigation, and what's happened is you don't only have these reporters that are on the scene. Well, now you have YouTube people that are running up and flying off to these scenes to be the first one there. We saw it with Gabby Petito. We saw people planting stuff that wasn't even there to make videos, and that is totally irresponsible. And if it's your family member, even if the information is true, and we know a lot of times, right, with social media, things come out, like maybe people on the scene and they're in a comment and they say, oh no, I saw, him being arrested at a Chick-fil-A, or him being here and I there. But the police don't want certain things to come out right away, just like they told that woman in that investigation, don't even tell your grandmother because you could jeopardize this case. So let's just say there is validity to anything that she's saying, that reporter. How could she have jeopardized the case, right? And then would the family have a right to be upset about that and, to say that that's false? The police have said that's false reporting. And why are you saying that? And I've questioned it from the get-go, because when somebody said that, I said immediately, the only person I see saying this is Ashley Banfield. I don't see it in any other place. And the police are saying that that's not the case. And the family's saying, stop. So if the family's saying stop, I think you should respect the family. And I think she's wrong. And she's continuing to do it. So, they may sue her. But anyway, let's see. That's what I said. Yeah, that's what they said. He got the right. Let's see. DNA, but why wouldn't they? Oh, I don't know why about cleaning it. I don't know. My theory is she never made it home. Your theory is she never made it home? But she was home because her pacemaker, if her pacemaker was there, Pepper Shake, to disconnect, she was there. So we know she made it home. Let's see. Barbie says, this case has me heartbroken. I keep thinking she must be so scared. Do most of you think she's still alive? I hope she is, but hold on a minute. I have to put out a candle. Hold on a minute. Be right there. I'll be right there. Oh my goodness, and I left my kombucha here too. my goodness. Hold on a minute, I've got a big issue here. Hold on a sec. Okay, let me see. I don't know, guys. And what's going on with that storm? We're supposed to get like severe cold weather. My husband has me going road tripping tomorrow, I think. So, I don't know what's going to be happening with that, but let's see. Okay. You don't think she's still alive? You're hoping she is. Yeah, but the more that time goes on, guys, we're almost looking at a week. Okay, tomorrow's Saturday. Where is this woman? Where is she? You know what I mean? Where is she? Really? And what is the motive for taking her? Was there anything stolen from the house? And hold on, I'm going to check something else. Where was her phone and her Apple Watch? Was it still at the house? Her purse? What about all that stuff? Have they said? That's the problem with just speaking nonsense. Yeah. I'm eating an orange, I'm sorry. I have to have some sustenance. I'm going to check, okay? Well, what did she do besides go to church? Did she have any kind of male companionship? I mean, they initially said nothing was taken from the house. Her phone, medication, and watch were left at the house. What about her purse? Yeah, but Louis, I think all of those ransom things are all crap. I think those are like people that start GoFundMes when something happens and they want people to think it's family members and they try to make a quick buck. But they also released the house over to her family within hours of taping it off. Okay, let me go check something. There's Nancy Guthrie's. All right, let's see. Nancy Guthrie's. Let's go here. All right. Let me see what this says. On February 2nd, Nanos stated that he believes a crime was committed regarding 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. He said investigators believe Nancy may have been taken from her home against her will, possibly in the middle of the night. He said details are pointing towards a possible kidnapping or an abduction. Sheriff Nanos, it's indicated it was a kidnapping. He said that there was DNA evidence at the scene that investigators will be analyzing. Nanos was also asked if he believed Guthrie was targeted. Nanos said he worked with the family closely, including Savannah and her security team. And Nanos said they've discussed any possible threats and stalking issues. It said that nothing that we see is leading us that way, but we'll never dismiss anything. We'll continue to look at everything, he said, and we'll just keep moving forward with it. Nanos confirmed that the 84-year-old woman lived alone. She was in frail health and needed daily medications to survive. Let's see here. Nancy Guthrie's belongings, including her purse, wallet, cell phone, and vehicle, were at her home. Okay. So obviously, if her purse, wallet, and that she has no action going on any of her cards or anything, right? What about the Apple Watch? The Apple Watch is also at the house. Let me see. Or does she have an Apple Watch? She does, right? Let's see. Why does she have, you would think, hold on a minute. You would think she had one of those life alerts, right? My father had a pacemaker, and he had one of those life alerts too. That he wore it. It was like a watch he wore, and if he fell or something, it would alert. Did she not have one of those? Being in very frail mobility and stuff, you would think she would have a life alert, right? Let's see. Did she have an Apple Watch? Unconfirmed media reports say that Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker stopped syncing with her Apple devices. I don't know if it's specifically saying she had her pacemaker stopped syncing with her Apple Watch. They said the watch was on the charger. Okay, so she'll never watch either. I'll never watch, phone, or anything to track her at all. Too bad she didn't have a pair of earbuds in her pocket or something, right? Because you can track those freaking earbuds if they're Apples. Or an AirTag, right? Okay, here's something else too about a floodlight. Hang on. So Derek Kallela was the guy that was charged with that one ransom thing. Let me see something here. The FBI is offering the $50,000 reward. Okay, let's see. What did I just do? I just had something I was trying to see, and I just lost it. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see here. Forensic FBI teams were seen scouring the roof of Nancy's home reportedly finding a camera mounted to the property that had been missed in previous searches. A dark SUV was also towed from the garage of the home. Over a dozen vehicles descended on the home throughout the day, including forensic teams, FBI agents, and sheriff's deputies. Authorities have not offered details behind the latest search. It came hours after a second message was sent to a Tucson news outlet, KOLD, claiming to be sent by those holding the 84-year-old woman for ransom. The outlet previously reported it was sent a ransom letter on Tuesday, as was TMZ, and authorities say they are treating them as serious leads but have not verified their legitimacy. KOLD said the new letter did not make ransom demands nor provide proof of life, but the previous letters demanded millions in Bitcoin to be paid in exchange for Nancy and gave a final deadline of Monday. There they are on roofs, and there's the vehicle that I believe is the one that was taken from the garage there. Sheriff Nanos said his investigators and the FBI are holding hope that Nancy is being held alive, and said interviews with staff at her home proved helpful. And Nano said this, and I quote, "What I believe is that Nancy was removed from her home against her will and that we need to find her." Really? That's what I believe. She's still alive, Nano said. I believe that I have no choice until something shows me, a piece of physical evidence shows me that that's different. The sheriff asked deputies, said deputies had interviewed Nancy's landscape crew, the pool maintenance workers, a housekeeper, and an Uber driver who drove her to her daughter Annie's home hours before she vanished. I think they have pretty much completed that, Nano said. We've talked. They've all been very cooperative. They provided certain information that was helpful to us. While Nanos offered an optimistic view of the search, he previously admitted investigators are in a race against time, with the 84-year-old woman suffering health problems and is believed to be without her daily medication. And this is the vehicle. Right? What do we have? Hold on a sec. Yeah, they're scouring the area. I mean, as they should be. Right? And then the blood that was... Come on there now. Come on now. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Get over there. Where the heck did that picture go? Okay, there's that picture right there, right? And what is that? That looks like a flower and some that almost looks like freaking looks like a rose or like a carnation or something. Looks like somebody had maybe somebody left flowers there or something and some tribute or something. I don't know. What is this? What is this? Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get into this again. It's driving me crazy. All right, let's see. So that's that. And that's looking like, oh, here's something, okay? In another twist, on Friday, authorities said a vehicle of interest was identified and was believed to have been seen at a Circle K convenience store in the Tucson area. A Circle K spokesperson said that a tip led law enforcement to the vehicle. Said the company was assisting investigators by providing access to its surveillance video. It's unclear why the video appeared to be connected to the disappearance, not if any suspects had been identified as a result. The evidence that was seized on Friday marks the biggest development in the search since blood was discovered outside of Nancy's front door soon after she was reported missing. Images from the scene show blood droplets leading from the front door to the driveway. And the doorbell camera had been removed, which officials later said was disconnected at 1:47 on the night she vanished. Okay, and then where is the I don't know, let's see. Apparently they found a camera, but I don't know. All right, let's see what else we have. All right, I'm coming back to the chat to see what you guys say about that. Okay, let's see. So let's see what we got here. We got all right. I'm going back to read your comments, okay? So Pepper Shake says UHP. Pepper Shake, you used to be here with Mackenzie Shrilla, right? Am I right or am I wrong? Let me know if I'm right or wrong, okay? Good to see you back. UHP, DNA match, but don't know when it got there. Could have been there a while, but then again, why wouldn't they have cleaned it? Oh, I get you now, yeah. But I don't think it was there. She had a staff and stuff, right? I think they would have cleaned it, right? I heard statistics that 0 elderly have been abducted, says Pepper Shake. Megan L. says, I believe law enforcement dropped the ball since today is the third day they shut the house down in a week, after all these other people were all over the property all week. Lil Lighty says, our news said the ransom note was real. You just can't believe anything on the news anymore. Okay. Well, one of them, the guy was arrested. So little lady, the other ones, they didn't say that anybody was arrested yet. I don't think they came right out and said the other two are fakes. They're investigating them. But the two that asked for the Bitcoin and stuff, and then they got a third one today. The one guy got arrested. I don't think they've come out and said the other two are fake yet. Okay. UHP says, my thought, this smacks like the Limburg kidnapping. The intended victim dies, and now it's, what do we do now? This old woman didn't rip the Ring camera off by herself. No, she definitely did not rip the Ring camera off by herself. Hi, Native Libra. How are you? Yeah, I think it will be a body recovery at this point. Good to see you, Native Libra. And the fact that Megan L says that they allegedly, the back door was broken into, yet there's blood on the front porch, makes me wonder if she tried to get out of the front door. Lewis says, about 50 years ago in my country, 2 guys kidnapped an old man to ask for a ransom, but they were unable to manage the old man. They panicked and chose to kill him instead. That's terrible, Lewis. UHP said this is ugly and whoever did this is going to pay. And Megan L said, they also said her medicine was left at home and needed it. Yeah, I heard that. They checked pharmacy to see if any refills were filled, but did they actually counter pills that were left in the bottles? UHP said Megan L's, who would do that, leave the bottles and just count out some pills? Who would do that? Makes no sense. Zigzag said, UHP, you misunderstood my comment, so settle down. What's going on? UHP says, I'm not wound up. Native Libra said, nosebleed. Let's see. Megan L says, it was also reported that whoever was in the house for 40 minutes. That's a long time for a kidnapping and not stealing anything. Megan L says she was on blood thinners. It's not hard to bleed on thinners. UHP said, I say that because I've been wounded in life and I know the difference. UHP said, well, there is that. Little lady said, okay. It's just me, says Megan L's. Them being there that long is very strange. Native Libra says, hey, hiya, Carolyn. Hiya, Native Libra. Okay. Did I miss anything? Okay. So, have I missed anything? Did I miss anything? Let me see something. So there's nothing taken. You know, if these guys wanted a ransom, they didn't take anything. I'm sure the woman had probably jewelry. I'm sure she had stuff in that house that was worth money. Why didn't they take her if they were really after money, right? Why wouldn't they have? It's like whoever took her made sure that anything to track her was left, right? Her bank cards, her phone, her Apple Watch. I don't know if she had AirPods, but if they were left home, they were. Her medications, a purse, a car. So, and was she even driving? I know there was a car in her garage, but she was 84. She utilized a ride-share service. She may not have trusted herself to drive anymore. Maybe she left the car Maybe sometimes one of her housekeeper would take her out in her car, and use Nancy's car to take her shopping and things. That could very well be. She probably wasn't driving anymore if she was in such frail health. She wasn't probably driving. Wouldn't you think that if it was a family member that drove her at night, that they would get out and make sure she got into the house and not just dropped her off if she was that frail? I don't know. I'm just saying, if she was that frail. I would think you'd get her in the house, wouldn't you? I would want someone to get me in the house if I was 84 years old. Okay, bye. See you later. I don't know. And if, who knows, like maybe she was sent home with some extra food from the dinner or whatever. Just get her in the freaking house. I don't know. Bye. Would you just leave your mother out there? Bye. See ya. And maybe she was independent. Like, my aunt is 100 years old. 100 and a half now. Oh my gosh, she's almost 101. She's very independent. She would be the kind that would say, she can walk around this lake faster than other people. I mean, it's crazy, okay? Some people are like that, but this woman wasn't. This woman was frail. My aunt would be like that, even going down a hill. This summer, we're taking her around, my cousin and I, and she's going down all these lawns, these steep inclines, by herself. Nobody should not say, oh, let me hold your arm. No. Okay? So it's like, that's my aunt. My aunt probably would say, like, I could leave her like she, but no, it's fine. I'll go right down this incline. Like, I'd be like, no, Aunt Ruth, I've got to go with you. Stop being silly. But I don't think this woman was like that. They're saying this woman was very frail. So, It's Bing says, maybe whoever took her home is who is responsible. Yeah, but they left, though, and then how come there's how come there's not anyone on that road that has a camera, and there's not any, they've traced all the cameras back to see, like, whatever's the nearest crossroad, and there's no cameras there? Really? Let's see what you said. Miss Carolyn, I've dropped my mom off at her house. Yes, I stay till she's inside. Make sure she's safe. My mom's 82. Try to help her, and you get smacked. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm scared to go home to an empty house, like a big empty house at night. I don't like that. My mother was never scared of that, though. But I don't know. I just get scared of that. I don't like that. I don't want to go. Like, I would never go. Like, let's say everybody was out of town or somebody was dropping me off here at my house. I don't care that I have cameras and everything. No. I'm going to take someone to come inside with me and be like, okay, let's come on inside. And I wouldn't even probably want to stay alone in my house. I wouldn't. But that's just me, But how far did her daughter live from her? You think that, I don't know, you think that they would have all had they would have got her like like my aunt in Arizona. My cousin had a huge house. She still has the house, but she had a whole like wing for my aunt. She had her own like apartment there, everything beautiful. But she lived in the house. She was there in the house, not so they could take care of her. I don't know. Why would they just leave their mother out there like that? Right? Why wouldn't they get or build a house where they could all be okay? They could have their own space. She could have her own space. I don't know. Why would they leave your 4-year-old mother alone like that? I don't know how many years has she been widowed or whatever, but, I don't know. Let's see something. Okay, let's see here. So the imposter was charged. Investigators were seen in drone footage swarming Nancy Guthrie's home on Friday. It was in the evening as the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Office resumed searching the property and the surrounding area. Just hours after KOLD TV said it received a new message about the 84-year-old mother of Today host Savannah Guthrie. Local and federal investigators say they're aware of a new message which is being examined for its authenticity in an investigation being led by the FBI. Earlier this week, several media outlets, including TMZ and KOLD, received messages demanding millions of dollars in Bitcoin for Nancy Guthrie's return. Authorities continue to urge anyone with tips to contact them, with the FBI now offering a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to Guthrie's recovery as the family continues to plead for help in finding their beloved mother. So the new message, the first ransom note sent to media outlets earlier this week, included two deadlines, one at 5 p.m. on Thursday and another for Monday. A second message on Friday indicated sensitive information, no deadline, and did not appear to be for a ransom. KOLD anchor Mary Coleman, who saw both notes without providing more details about the second letter's contents, Coleman said she thinks the sender made an effort to include details that they think will prove to investigators it is the same person or people who sent the first. The fake ransom note, a man was charged for making an illegitimate ransom threat to Guthrie's family, was released on $20,000 bond following a court appearance. Okay, let's see. DNA evidence at the home. The blood, belongs to Nancy. We know that now. Security camera from the front door area of the home is missing, and it's unclear which of the cameras at the home detected motion around 2 a.m. around the time that her pacemaker last pinged her phone. Okay, so they got her out of there, so it's not going to ping her phone anymore, right? Pacemaker and the phone are apart. The latest note sent to this station doesn't appear to be for a ransom. The note appeared to be a response to the initial videos the family put out, but didn't share details, the anchor that talked about it, to protect law enforcement's investigation. With multiple media outlets now receiving ransom notes from Nancy Guthrie's alleged abductor, a former senior FBI crisis negotiator says the possible open line of communication is welcome development. It says that there is a path that they've chosen, retired FBI agent Richard Kolko. But let's make it clear, as a negotiator, you want to make sure it's as easy as possible for the hostage takers to be able to communicate with you. See, but do you think these are real? I don't. While some of the still unverified ransom notes have demanded deadlines for the payment of a ransom, one received by a CNN affiliate, KOLD-TV, Friday, contained sensitive information but did not mention a deadline or a ransom. So, I don't know. Okay, and President Donald Trump seemed to suggest on Friday that some things could be coming from the Justice Department or the FBI in the case of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, saying, and I quote, "We have some things I think that will maybe come out reasonably soon from the DOJ or FBI or whoever that could be definitive. A lot has taken place in the last couple of hours. A lot of things have happened with regard to that horrible situation in the last couple of hours." And he was telling this to reporters on board Air Force One. Okay, let's see here. All right, let me go to the other. Hold on. All right, let's see. Okay, new message. Oh boy, there's so much conspiracy going on. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's see. Cars towed away. I know that. Wow, it sounds really windy outside. See, someone is saying, and I don't know if this is true, and I don't know that this is true, but somebody is saying, and I don't know who this person is, that Annie Guthrie, that's Nancy's daughter, and Tommaso Cioni, that's the son-in-law, may have had her car that day, may have. Nancy took an Uber to have dinner with them, but she's saying, this doesn't even make sense, okay? They returned in her car, parked it in the garage. Yeah? How'd they get back to their house, Einstein? The car was in the garage. It's a good one. See, you've really got to, there's so many people putting false information out there. Okay. Alrighty. I don't see anything. Okay. So that's it. That's the big developments. The car, another note which may mean nothing, and possible camera maybe on a rooftop. Possible. Who knows if it was working? Who knows what it could be? All right, let's see here. I want to look at something. The strange part is she has neighbors and no neighbors have cameras. Well, they didn't say that. They said their cameras are mostly looking in. They don't show what's happening on the street. They do all have cameras, but the houses are so far apart and the landscape surrounding them made it difficult to see anything. Plus, it was dark. Someone supposedly took the Nest cameras, but wouldn't the videos still be on her phone? If someone deleted them, they would have to have known her password, but I think they took them before there was... Still has to be in the cloud. There were Nest cameras, but no hookup to her phone. The company... it said she had let her subscription run out, so it didn't record any video. Huh. So the Nest cameras didn't provide anything. Said the Pima County Sheriff's Department shot down the unverified reports about Tommaso amid the disappearance of Savannah's mother, Nancy Guthrie. Okay, let's see here. You said the son-in-law dropped her off that night, but who took Nancy to the son-in-law's house? An Uber. That person may have... No. That person may have asked, do you live alone, and other personal questions. They already interviewed the Uber driver. Okay, let's see here. It was the camera that broke and smashed at the front door. So not to be identified. Whoever smashed the cameras had to know their location because it wouldn't be obvious to a stranger. Okay. Oh. But what would be, if this was family or anything, what would be their motive? Why? What would be the motive? Were they having a money situation? Like, what was going on? So apparently, Annie and Tommaso lived 10 minutes away from Nancy's home. Annie kind of looks like Michelle Troconis, doesn't she? Has anybody seen Annie? I don't know. She kind of looks like... I'm not saying that means she's guilty or anything, but I'm just saying she resembles Michelle Troconis. Okay. Let me see here now. In my opinion. All right, let me go back to where you guys are. It is getting so windy. Can you hear the wind? Okay, so Bink says, but her family might know where the camera was. Yeah, the family, right. I'm still missing part of my arse. Okay, what's going on now? Is everybody being nice in the chat? What happened here? What happened? Little Lighty. The odd thing is, I was born the last year of the boomers, and Mom was born the first year of the... boomers. Okay. You're a proud boomer yourself, little lady? Okay. All right, let's see. Garage door was opened and closed in 2 minutes for a woman with a cane. Seems very short to me. Maybe. Wonder if he could have pulled into the garage. I think that other... Was there a bay next to it that was empty? I don't know. Why would she even be going in through the garage? I don't know. If someone's dropping her off, why wouldn't she go through the front door or something? They're talking about feisty boomer grandmas. Oh, they're talking about feisty boomer grandmas. Gangsta grannies. Didn't want to take her bank cards because it could be traced. They probably want her money when she dies. But what would that do? Okay, let's just say, right? Let's just say it was a family member. How are they going to get her money if they took her somewhere? How's that going to get them her money? Let's just say that. If it's anybody, I mean, it doesn't even have to be her. Anybody. How is that going to get them money? Can someone explain? please. Please, please, please. Lord Lee. Is that a Lord Lee? Oh my goodness. How is that going to... Just tell me. Tell me. The will, they're going to go get her to sign something? Most, it has to be notarized and witnessed. Okay? Who's going to witness that? Like the two family members? That's not going to fly. Right? That's not going to float. So, okay, so cross that one off. What's going to be the plan? Like, why would... Okay, he's a school teacher. She wrote a publish yourself or something. I don't know, jewelry book, or I don't know. So somebody said, I don't really know, but it's publish yourself. I don't know, but a jewelry book or something. But and a poet or whatever. What is going to make them live close to their mother, who's 84 years old, and just one day say, you know what? Let's go abduct your mother, or let's go do something. Like what is the point of that? To get the inheritance, just the inheritance, straight out inheritance? Is that what you're saying, little lady? Not that she's going to change the will, but the straight out inheritance they need? Is that what you're saying? I get you now. Oh, okay, I understand you now. I think that's what you're saying. Not that you want her to change the will, but just that we need our money now. Okay, so we need our money now. But you know what? If these people, okay, let's just say, and then we're talking hypothetically, because I'm not even talking about Nancy. I'm talking hypothetically, okay? An 84-year-old woman named Paige is abducted from her house in California. And someone's saying that it might be her daughter and son-in-law, okay? Now, if the daughter and son-in-law were in a real bind, they'd have to be in some freaking bind. Yeah, I know, little lady. I'm not upset at you at all. I'm not. I'm just thinking this out in my head. I'm not upset. If I sound upset, I'm not. I really am not. I'm just trying to think it out of my head. So let's say this happened to just a hypothetical lady in California. And let's say the daughter and son-in-law, they're over their head in debt. They've got the bill collectors calling. They're going to lose their house. First thing, would their mother help them in that situation? This lady probably would, okay? But second, this lady, this hypothetical lady that I'm talking about, because she's pretty nice. But the second thing is, what if they're like, no, we need a big amount of money. We got to sell mom's house. We got to split that. We've got to get the money that's in the bank. We've got to get the IRAs. We need everything. So these Frank and Lorraine, the son and daughter-in-law of the woman that I'm speaking about in California, hypothetically, Frank and Lorraine, who have been upstanding people their whole life, are just going to say, you know what? Screw it. Screw it. We have no other choice. You know, that's a big thing. And even if Frank decided on his own to do it, right? That's a huge thing. But just think about the pressure that Frank and Lorraine would have to be under to do something like that. And if Frank and Lorraine were under that much pressure, listen to this one, okay? If Frank and Lorraine were under that much pressure that either one of them decided that their only option is to take their mother out. Don't they understand? What are they going to do? Like, don't you think by now they would have had her be found, because they know there's going to be an investigation. They're going to have to do all this stuff. It's going to be months before they get to the end of this, right? They're not going to be able to put that house up for sale tomorrow. They're not going to be, what are they going to be like? Okay, well, Mom was found there in that park. All right, Judith and Bradley, we've got to get Mom's will and everything. We got to get that house up for sale. And they'll be like, you're not getting the house up for sale now. Okay? We got all this stuff to do. So that would be that would not be fast money at all. They would be tied up. So to even think that, where are you going with that? Right? It's not going to be fast. It's not even fast when a parent dies of like natural causes. There's still months that all that stuff has to be, hammered out and everything. That's not a quick thing. So, yeah. John, I mean, I think that someone, it's obvious, had some knowledge of where cameras and things were, right? So, but she also had people that worked at her house. She had a pool crew. She had a gardening crew. She had a housekeeper. I'm not saying any of those people did anything. I'm not saying that. And again, what would be their motive to do anything? Right? So maybe it's not money. Maybe it's not money. Could it be something personal? But still, I mean, what? And already on the bank account, what? Unless you're the beneficiary. Well, I don't think they are, though. But I don't know. So what if it's not money? What could someone, hypothetically, this woman in California, okay, this hypothetical woman in California, what did I say her name was? I don't even remember what we named her. I don't even remember. But this woman in California, let's say it was a family member. What would they think about that? The only other thing I would think, it would have to be like more along the lines of a crime of passion, or like, you know what I mean? Like just something that infuriated someone and they didn't know what they did, but to plan and stuff, like why would anybody do that to their 84-year-old family member? But for what reason? Like, I mean, it could be a slew of people that know her movements, from delivery drivers to housekeepers to law. Yeah, but why though, UHP? Why? Because why? Let's say it is this lady in California, delivery drivers or the pool crew or whoever it is. Why though? What are they going to get out of this? They didn't steal anything from that house. What is in it for them that they would do something like that? That's doesn't make sense. Wait, tell me. But UHP, tell me where they're going to get money. These ransom things, they seem to be bogus. These ransom things sound like a bunch of bupkis. Okay? They don't sound like anything. So tell me what are they going to get? Grandma is loaded and they're not after the change in the couch. Yeah, but who? How are they going to get that money, UHP? I just don't understand how they're going to get the money. I could see if it's not an emergency but they say, okay, well, we'll be good getting that money in a year. If we get that money in a year, we can invest in XYZ. Or if we get that money in a year, we'll be okay. But still, that's got to take a really... if a daughter is in on something like that, that's incredible. Right? Who could do that? Who could do that? There would be so many other things that let's say a daughter or son-in-law needs their share. They possibly could talk to their mother and say, look, we're in dire straits here. We need this money. Is there any way you could front us something early or whatever? I mean, there'd be options, right? And 84 Carolyn, I'm thinking she's already has her will. Yeah, she has her will, but still, Bink, it's still going to take time, especially if there's a murder investigation. Right? Let's say she's found somewhere. What do you think? They're just going to be like, okay, let's get her house up for sale and let's get this will divvied up. And don't you think they're going to be watching? Like, come on. Don't you think? Listen to this one, okay? Whoever dropped her off, whatever family member dropped her off, don't they have a phone with them? Doesn't their phone show them going back to their house? Where is their phone showing them at 2 a.m? Is their phone on airplane mode and shown at their house? When is their phone turned on again? We don't know about that, right? Where's the family member's phone? Is their phone registering when they went to take their family member home? She may have had a large amount of cash hid in the house. The pool guy or the housekeeper, someone may have found it. That's another good point, Caroline. Yeah. What's the phone activity? Now, okay, they picked a good time, whoever did it, because having your phone on airplane mode or powered down at 2 a.m. isn't very suspicious if you say, hey, look, I don't want to have my phone next to my bed ringing with notifications or anything. Jimmy can't stand that. Jimmy's always taking my phone. If my phone rings, he'll hide it under our stuff because you can't stop it. So but it drives people crazy. So yeah, so would that be a crazy thing? No. And maybe if it was 2 a.m. and they were back in their place, and I'm not saying the son, I'm saying whoever. It was 2 a.m. and they were back by 5:30, and then put their phone on, that's not very suspicious, right? Especially if they could establish it as a pattern. If they did it for the first time, that's a little suspicious. If they found money, why ask for Bitcoin money? Someone says, but I think that Bitcoin stuff is just an opportunist. That's what I feel. I feel that is just an opportunist thing. That's what I think. I don't even think that's related. I think that's like a red herring, okay? I think it's someone trying to capitalize on something and maybe get some Bitcoin, right? Maybe say, hey, this family's wealthy. Maybe they'll shoot us some Bitcoin. It can't be traced. We'll see what we can get. I don't know. But let's see here. My past. Yes, I've seen all kinds of dumb arses out there doing all kinds of dumb shite. Who knows what they're thinking? You're never going to know, Carolyn, because you don't think like that. Well, they always think they're smarter, UHP. They always think they thought of everything, right? But there's always something that they forget. Like that woman in the interrogation last night. Did you notice the way that woman... you got to hand it to her that when they showed her, like those videos, her mouth did not drop to the floor. Like most people, I think, would have an expression like, oh my gosh. She didn't have that. Like I don't know. That scares the crap out of me because she was like, no. I don't know, you guys. I really don't. I don't know. What would be the motive? That's the thing is that what would be the motive? What would be the motive for any of them to do this? Now, it looks like if she was going over their house for dinner and games, sounds like they had a pretty good relationship, doesn't it? Dinner and games? No, there's two daughters. Savannah is the one that's a reporter. And then her sister writes poetry and makes jewelry, and her husband is a school teacher. So, right, they sound like they had a good relationship. How does that just go there? And maybe one person is involved and the other person isn't. But I don't know. You just don't understand, John? Yeah, I know. There's a lot we don't understand, but there's also a lot we don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know that the police have and do have under wraps that we don't know. So yeah, there's a lot we don't know. There's a lot we don't know. But hold on, I want to just look up something really quickly. Hang on a minute. Hang on 1 second. Hold on. Okay, let me see here. The FBI just towed Nancy Guthrie's car out of her garage. Now, someone is saying, now we know that the FBI towed Nancy Guthrie's car out of her garage, but somebody is also adding that 3 officers from Pima County arrived at Annie Guthrie's home with forensics vehicles. I do not know if that is true. There is a photo posted. Can I verify that? Let me see. So that would really be something. If that is true, that would be something. But I don't know. I don't know. Let me see, here's something else. All right, so earlier it was reported that 3 deputies arrived at the home of Annie Guthrie, but then someone said that could have been to let them know they're going to tow the car. I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, hold on a second. I don't know. Keep looking at what this woman is saying about suspect. And that so where does her son live? You know, it's sad because this, like, people are saying really bad things. Based on somebody reporting something. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what is the motive here. It was the wind. You should have seen me when we were on vacation and noticed our screen was, oh yeah. Right. Yeah, I know. I'm scared to leave the house. Back in my day, you stole from the wrong person. You got clipped and dropped in a hole. Nowadays, some kid with a shotgun, you just didn't see. Flies out of your shoes. No reason at all. Yeah, but what? Oh, I don't know. I don't know, you guys. Yeah, me too, Pink. I don't like to be alone. That's why I don't enjoy. I do not like to be alone. Like I don't want to stay alone. Like you're not gonna. Yeah. No, I don't want. Oh, I don't know. In certain places, what did I wasn't alone, was I? I was just. I don't think I've. The kids are still here. I'm trying to think. I could be alone with one of the kids or something, but I just don't want to be alone in the house. I don't. Alone. When my parents were still alive, might have been like but I just don't want to be alone in the house. Hi 61. What do you think about this High 61? I wish someone. I've asked you guys. Can anybody tell me why this? See, unless it was like, I don't know, like something so. Okay, here's the thing, right? And this is going to be crazy, but I'll say it anyway. I just don't know the person that just says, like, no matter what happens, like, oh my gosh, you saw that? Now I have to murder you. Like, who says that? Who says that? But, what about this? What if, okay, now this is a hypothetical again. Hypothetical, we're using the hypothetical case of a lady out in California who went over her daughter and son-in-law's house to play games and to have dinner. What if the said, what if this woman out in California walked in on her son-in-law doing something either extremely illegal, extremely immoral, that it would blow up his marriage, something along those lines. But at that point, let's just say she walked in on him. Do you think she's going to be quiet? If he thinks this allegedly has to take her out because she found something out, why would she go home with him? Why would she not say anything? Unless he made a deal with her, please give me a day to say something. Please, please, please give me a day. Give me a day. Let me just sleep on it tonight. Let me just sleep on it tonight, please. I'm begging you. And I'll tell her. I don't know. And then what is he going to do? He's going to say, then I just got to kill her? Could that be something? Oh no. Can't figure it out. What would be the possible motive? Did anybody hear me? Did anyone hear me about what I said? Did anybody hear me? Are you ignoring me? Are you ignoring me? Did anybody hear what I said? What if this hypothetical mother-in-law found out about something? Okay. What about it? Do you think there's any validity there? You guys heard me, but nobody answered me. Just say, yeah, or something so I know that you heard me. Let's say the daughter that lives near to her is the beneficiary, then the mom finds out something bad. Right? I'm thinking it has to be connected that her daughter has a black eye and a bruised lip. Do you believe that, Heart? Come on. Do you believe that, Heart? That's being reported by people that you don't think that's all conspiracy. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I really don't. They're saying all kinds of things, Heart. They're saying that they have their heads down and it's fake pictures, that they got AI pictures. There's so much fakeness, Heart. You've got to really, it's so easy to fake AI stuff. It's so easy to create deep fakes. That's what's bad about AI. AI is great when it's used the right way. AI is great, but when AI is used to deceive people, it's not great. I think it is hard. I do. I think it is, but there's people that think it's real. I don't know. There's so much conspiracy out there. There's so much fakeness. And the one thing that people are doing, they create fake news reports. They put fake pictures up there. Well said, hi. What, UHP? She probably has a... Hey, Raging Gamer, how are you? She probably has it going... Oh, yeah, let's hear your thoughts on this, Raging Gamer. Do you have the thoughts on this? Let's hear your thoughts. Everybody listen to Raging Gamer. What do you think happened, Raging Gamer? What happened? Let us know. Let me see something. Let me see. Too bad that the pacemaker she has can't be like pinged or something, you know? Remember that night we were watching Harvey Dilly? I don't know where we were watching. We were sitting there watching it minute by minute. Like I was doing this, like, and then we found out. I'm like, wait a minute, and I was showing you guys pictures. I'm like, they're right outside his house now, and then they're at this other house. Okay, let's see. Answers and is coming fairly soon. Someone's KOLD News. Now, KOLD says, breaking. Trump says answers in Nancy Guthrie case coming fairly soon. A blue SUV towed. Yeah, we know that, but answers coming fairly soon. Guess we'll see, right? Okay, it says a Circle K spokesperson told NBC News that law enforcement visited one of their stores on Oracle Road in Tucson after receiving a tip regarding a vehicle of interest, and our team has provided them access to the store's surveillance video. Someone's saying Anna Kepner's, I don't know, is that true that Anna Kepner's stepbrother was arrested finally? I don't know, is that true? I've got to check that out. Hold on a minute, guys, I got to check it out. Let me see. Oh, he was, you guys. Did you guys know that? Hold the phone on this for a second. I've been wondering. I just said it the other day. I said, what are they waiting for? Sorry, we have to just take a detour for a second. The stepbrother of Anna Kepner, who was found asphyxiated on a cruise, hold on a minute, was arrested this week and appeared in a Florida courthouse Friday to face a judge. According to law enforcement, the 16-year-old stepbrother was led by U.S. Marshals into a Miami federal courtroom for an appearance. But since he's a juvenile, the case was sealed. It's unclear if he's been charged in a federal complaint or an indictment. On November 7th, Kepner's body was reportedly discovered inside the cabin she shared with her stepbrother on the Carnival Horizon. Just after her death, media reports surfaced claiming Anna's stepbrother had a strange infatuation with her. Okay, so he was arrested and was in court. That's something, huh? Let me go back here and see if Raging Gamer has any thoughts over here. Raging Gamer, you have any thoughts? You missed Harvey Dilly? You weren't around then, Hart? Okay, what does Raging Gamer say? I do believe, unfortunately, she may not be alive based on all the medical issues. Yeah, I hear that, Raging. I hear it. Cartel negotiates for money early, not later. Usually go direct to the family. Who's talking about the cartel? Okay, let's see. Raging Gamer says family friend with money or drug issues, or the cartel because they live near Mexico and they have money. Okay, let's see. FBI did check for child P on the computers. Okay, but it could be different than that, because it doesn't just have to be that, Philip. It could be something where he would be in big trouble with his wife. You know what I mean? Other stuff. It doesn't even have to be illegal, but it could be immoral. I'm looking, Raging Gamer. I'm looking. I'm going to look right now. Hang on. I think it's either a family friend or the cartel. That's what you said. Okay. That's my theory, you said. UHP said even the cartel has issues with hunting grandmas. You can scratch that one. Yeah, but they have been hurting for money since this administration shut down their access. Grandmas are scared. This is something else. Oh, grandmas are sacred. Sorry. If a person sees someone doing something they shouldn't be doing, it usually doesn't end well. Julianne says, I agree, UHP. Philip O for Spirit says, cartel negotiates for money early, not later, usually go directly to the family. Very true, says UHP. Ragey Gamer says, I do believe, unfortunately, she may not be alive based on all the medical issues she has and needs her medication. Hope I'm wrong, they said. Yeah, me too, right? I hope I'm wrong, too. Person of interest, he's a suspect. I will tell you this much, says UHP. When the president is armchairing an investigation, you have zero chance of getting away with something. This won't wash. Someone is getting caught. Okay. That's all I said. You read it. Okay, thanks, Raging. Okay, so yeah, I've read all the news that's fit to print on it. Okay. I don't know. So crazy, isn't it? It's like, at this point, it's almost like one of those hunt-a-killer things, right? But it's real life, unfortunately, you know. You don't, but it's like, you know, who done it? It's a who done it, right? Who done it? And it's hard to figure it out, because what would be the motive? Like, if it was a close family member, what would be the motive? And it's so crazy. Raging said, we're going to start using government satellites that have been recording everything everywhere, and then they will rewind the footage of the Earth. Like, I don't know. Like, if they took her, here's my theory, okay? If they took her at 2 a.m, couldn't the police have just followed every way out of there and followed it down? At some point, it's got to get somewhere where there's a camera, right? And how hard would it be to search the cameras for 2, 3 a.m? I don't know. They might already have it. They might already have all that. Remember, like in Coburger, nobody thought they had anything, and then all of a sudden the police had all that. So maybe they did. Maybe they do know the car that went out of there. Okay? Maybe they did see it. Because you would think that's what they would do, right? And maybe she didn't have her cameras hooked up. Maybe she didn't pay the subscription. I don't know about her Nest cameras, but if they're the kind that she could still see, but they weren't monitored, she might have said, look, I'm not scared. If I see something, then I'll call the police. I don't know. But I mean, they must have had money. Why wouldn't they just pay the subscription plan and have their mother taken care of? And why didn't she have a life alert? I don't get that. Someone that's frail like that, why wouldn't she not have a life alert? I don't get it. I don't get it. So many things. And apparently, I don't know if it's true, the daughter and son-in-law bought a home a year ago or something, just 10 minutes away from the mother. You remember that lady that wanted to scare her daughter? So she had somebody kidnap her. Do you remember that story? It wasn't too long ago. She got in trouble for it, big time. I think her daughter was like a little bit developmentally disabled, and she had somebody kidnap her to scare the crap out of her. I just got a weird, like, you don't think that the daughter was like, Mom, you've got to move in with us. And she's like, no, I'm fine over here by myself, right? And they just wanted to, no. Now I sound like Scooter. Now I sound like Scooter because that's what Scooter does. No. Yeah, no, always stupid. No, that sounds like Scooter. But can you imagine? Can you imagine if they did that to scare the mother? And what if that got out of control? What if they did something to scare the mother, right? What if they got one of their friends just to scare the mother? What? No, but I mean, like, you know how you go, like, you know how, not that, you go like this, Scooter. Sometimes you go to say something, you go, no, yeah, what about, no, okay, just forget it. No, yeah, that's silly. That's a silly idea. You know what I'm talking about, Scooter? When you think about something sometimes and you go to say it and then you go, what about if, and then, no, that's silly. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Oh, I'm not going to say that. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, but you're going through around ideas, Caroline. Hey, but you gotta throw around ideas. Yeah, but what if they did that? What if it went terribly wrong? There have been times people have meant to play a joke, right? Haven't there been times people went to play a prank and somebody got shot because somebody really thought, right? Hasn't that happened? I think it has. Somebody is going to play a joke and they get shot, right? Like, oh, they might put a stocking on their head or something and run into someone's house they know and pretend they're, somebody in there, right? And then they get shot, right? Haven't things happened like that? People are playing a prank, right? Even those people that used to sit in the corner in a plastic bag and then jump out to scare their mother, right? Well, that could go terribly wrong too, right? What if it's a person like me that doesn't like to be scared? What if I had something in my hand? Like, you could whack the person with something, they could die. Things happen like that. It's good to do that, people. How do you think we invent things and solve things? I definitely do that, Carolyn. Yeah, you always glaze, oh, but yeah, okay, I don't want to say that. And I'm like, what is it, Scooter? And you're like, it's just a silly idea. I can't say it. And I'm like, what is it, Scooter? Yeah, just a feeling I have. You know that. She does it. But that's what I said. Now I sound like Scooter. What if somebody did do something like that? Sometimes there's people mean something in the most harmless way. And I'm not even talking about abducting somebody. I'm talking about a practical joke. People mean it. Didn't Jan learn that on the Brady Bunch, right? When she went to move that mouse or something and it almost got out or something. And then Greg said, you see, Jan? Sometimes people get hurt with these practical jokes. Even though you mean things to be funny, sometimes you could really end up doing some damage. So, maybe somebody thinks it's really funny, right? Oh, it's going to be so funny to do this, that, or the other thing. And the worst possible outcome happens. And nobody wanted it, right? Nobody wanted it. They didn't want that mouse to get loose. But they found him in the garage, didn't they? I think so. But nobody wants that. Would Red Hornet would just be 24/7 help find kid, and while it's sad, nobody will do that. What? Help find kid? What do you mean, Rajan? But what if they wanted to scare her? There are people that do stuff like that. We saw it. That mother did it to her kid. But read his comment. Oh, I didn't even see. I got somebody in here named Red Hornet. I'm sorry, Red Hornet. I didn't even see you in here. Hi, Red Hornet. How are you? I'm glad you found us, Red Hornet. Can everybody please make sure they subscribe, hit the likes. If you really want to be a member of the family, become a channel member. We have at least 3 membership tiers that are less than a cup of coffee. Okay. We'll play you a song if you join the membership. All right, let me see now. What do you got this here? Red Hornet. What does Red Hornet have? We watch movies. We do stuff. Fun stuff. Red Hornet. Red Hornet, Rajan, I can't see Red Hornet's comment. It says message retracted. Red Hornet retracted it. Hey, Red Hornet. No, he didn't. He wasn't removed. He retracted his message. It's a difference. If they retract it, they made it themselves. Oh, Carolyn, what if it was some bumbling kids with a harebrained prank and it went wrong and they're terrified and don't know what to do? I don't think so, but yeah, it could be a lot of things. But what if it was a prank that, let's just say, right? Let's just say that Can you imagine? And we're talking about the hypothetical lady. He just said all those attention for a famous person with all those kids missing. Oh, okay. But then he retracted it. But, what was I going to say? If there was a hypothetical lady in California, let's just say, and her family was trying really hard to get her to live with them in her own apartment and everything that was on their house, in a really nice house, and she was like, no, I'm fine on my own. And then the daughter says to her husband, you know what, maybe if you could just rattle her a little bit, right? Maybe you could get those two friends of yours to put on like a mask or something and go over there, like, home invasion or something, and then she'll get so scared she won't want to live alone anymore. And what if something terrible happened, right? What if she slipped and fell? And then these guys are like, crap, right? Like, what the hell? This wasn't supposed to go this way. We were just supposed to rattle her cage a little bit and then leave. And now she fell or something. What happens then? Now, you'd say if they really were guys, they would call the hospital but I don't know. It's crazy. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying sometimes you try to do something that you think is going to be funny and it turns out terrible. Have you ever had where you're telling you make up a funny story and you tell it to a friend, right? And it's something like weird, like maybe it's like it's a fake something, but if it was a real something, it would be like really bad. And then the friend that you're telling it to, because you're just doing it, you're saying, oh, this will shock my friend. And then they'll be like, really? But instead of the friend saying, really, the friend says, oh my gosh, I did that too, or whatever. I have that. And then now you're between a rock and a hard place because you didn't do that. But now your friend has confessed something to you, right? Yeah. Yep. Right. Then you're in a little bit of a quandary, aren't you? Yep. Then you're in a quandary. So sometimes you could have the best laid plans. It could be a little prank. Oh, it's just going to be fun. Like, okay. My son Michael, right, used to always leave his car. I forget what he did, because Ray and I, we laughed like crazy. We were all going to take, oh gosh, we were laughing so freaking hard. We were going to take his car, because he was always leaving it like unlocked with the keys in it or something behind the restaurant. And we were laughing so hard here one night. And we said, should get the car, park it on the other end of the town, right? And then say, hey, Michael, can I go borrow your car for a minute? I want to just run up to the gas station or something, right? And then he'd be like, sure, go ahead. And then we said that Ray would go out there and be like, where'd you park the car? And make him think the car was stolen, right? But then we never did it. But we laughed our butts off thinking about it. We couldn't even breathe, because Ray and I used to do the same thing. We would laugh so hard you can't breathe. And we were both doing it here at the table. And I thought, how many mothers laugh like this with their kids? All mothers do this and think of these crazy pranks. But anyway, we were thinking of this crazy prank. But can you imagine if, like, then he called like just somebody got, I don't know, but yeah, but anyway, I don't know. Yeah. We were just, we would laugh like crazy on that, but like, what if something happened? I don't know what would happen in that case, but I don't know. But today's world, you got to be careful. A lot of pranks people are carrying and everything, People get scared and spooked and you don't know what's going to happen. That's why they stopped those things. Did you see? I laughed so hard on one of them but they stopped. Remember those people that had YouTube channels and they would just go through Walmart and do these pranks on people? And I mean, a lot of them were not nice. And a lot of them were on like elderly people. So like they'd go right behind a person some guy did that to me in Walmart and I was on a Zoom and I screamed at him, but he wasn't doing it like a prank. But I'm sorry, when I'm looking at like something on the shelf, and I'm in a thing and I'm in my zone and he just came up and he said something like to me and I'm like, oh my gosh, you scared the crap out of me. And I was like, and I told him that when I was on a Zoom and everybody was laughing because I went off on the guy because he scared the crap out of me. I don't like people doing that. I'm thinking about something. I don't want someone coming up to me and then just, like getting real loud in my ear about something. So anyway, but that's what they were doing. And they finally banned them from the Walmarts and they stopped that kind of stuff because it's not funny. It's not. And they did a lot of it. Like they would go and take people's stuff out of their carts and they would do a lot of crap. And then, there's this other one I was watching. I don't know. It was on Instagram or something. The guy walks up, I don't know, like a Lowe's or a Home Depot, right? And he's got 2 of those 5-gallon buckets in his hand. And some guy is looking at the, looking at the screws or whatever. He's turned looking at the shelf on one side of the aisle. And the guy comes up and throws a 5-gallon bucket on the guy's head. And then he puts a 5-gallon bucket on his own head. And he falls to the floor, right? And then he gets up, he goes like, what the hell? And then the guy that they did it, he was like, what the hell? And he's like, they got me too. Did you see who it was? Did you see them? Oh my gosh. If somebody did that to me, I would press charges. I'm serious. I don't like that. And that's why something like that could get somebody really, really hurt. Because somebody could freak out. Yeah, Philip, but I think they banned all that stuff, I think. I thought they stopped that, but I think that was on Instagram that I saw that. But that's not good. It's not good. It was funny to watch. I laughed a little bit on it, okay? But it's not okay. It's like really bad. And then the ones, they go up, the old people, and they're looking at something, and they go, all of a sudden, they'll be very quiet, and they go like this, excuse me, ma'am! And then the lady jumps out of her skin, and that would be me. I would jump out of my freaking skin, and then I would just go off on the person. Okay? I told you, I cannot go into haunted houses where you walk through them because I've punched people. I do not like anybody jumping out and scaring me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Jimmy still doesn't realize that I don't like that. I've been like that my whole life. I remember being in typing class. Yes, typing class. One of these boys came up to me and goes, hey, Carolyn, what page are we? And I was like, oh my gosh, whatever he did. And he goes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, you scared me. And I've always been like that. I can't just get right back on it. I can't call you, oh boy, you scared me. I have to tell them for like 5 times how much they scared me. Okay? I'd be like, you scared me. Oh my gosh, you just scared me. I was like, and they're like, okay, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to know what page we were supposed to be on. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but you scared me. I'd have to, what happened? It's Bink, I'd have to turn us in and call Savannah. Sorry, girl. What happened? I comedy by as drive-by. What happened? What did Bink say? Knocked on this poor lady's door and somehow we were involved and all this is a prank and couldn't say anything. Oh. What if this was vacation and me, you, and Carolyn somehow knocked on this poor lady's door and somehow we were involved in all this as a prank and couldn't say anything? Yikes. Or they would kill her and us. Yikes. Scooter said it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like to be scared. I don't like that. And if I'm vacuuming or something, don't call my name. Because you're going to have to call it louder. And then I'm going to freak out and say, is Michael or is Luke? I just don't like to be freaked like that. If I'm really, and Jimmy doesn't understand, like it could just be that I'm concentrating on something and I've completely tuned out the entire world. And then if you even say anything to me like, Carolyn or sweetheart, I will jump. Oh my gosh, don't scare me like that. Especially if I'm doing something and I'm vacuuming, because like I talk to myself, not really, but in my head, right? When I'm vacuuming and I'm really in my zone, or if I'm, mopping the floor with the Tineco, right? I'm really in my zone doing that. Or if I'm using the steamer, don't come by and try to just say something to me. I don't like being just snuck up on. I know people who hated being touched. I don't mind being touched. I don't like being scared. I don't like being in my zone and someone just like says something loud. Like Jimmy, sometimes he can be like a ninja, like be so quiet. And then, like, a lot of times he talks very softly, but then he'll come in with, like, this booming voice. Hey, sweetheart. And, I'll be, oh, stop it. You're scary. And he's like, how could that scare you? It took him a long time to understand that people have a startle reflex. And I have it. I do not like to be scared. Linda doesn't either. I do not like it. And I'll scream and everything else. And it can happen anywhere. It can happen even in a crowded place. Because if I'm in my zone, I'm not thinking of somebody doing that. And that's why, somebody could get killed. You got to be careful. Can't just go scaring people. People try to protect themselves. I do that all the time and jump. Dave walks up so damn quiet. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. It makes me nuts. I did it to Ethan the other day. I think I did it to Ethan the other day. Yeah, I think I did. Because he's constantly saying, like, how does that scare you? How does that scare you? Right? So I think the other day, maybe it wasn't the other day. I'm trying to think what it was. I think it was down by the lake. He was coming down and I was hiding on the other side of the house. And then when he came down, I jumped out. And I said, but he didn't get scared the way I would get scared. But I think I did it there to see. And I said, and he's like, well, yeah, I wasn't expecting anybody. But then a lot of times when I would go to do that, he would automatically know where I was. It was like you couldn't startle him. But I wanted to say, well, did you get startled? Well, that's how I get startled. But I don't like that. When you're in the kitchen doing dishes and someone sneaks in behind you, yeah, you're really in your zone, right? Hi, you're like thinking, wow, these dishes are nice. And you're in your mind and you're totally somewhere else. And then someone comes in and they don't even have to say anything to you. They either make a noise or they go, hey, do you know what happened? And then you're like, what the hell? When did you come in here? Yeah, it's scary because you're in your own zone. A lot of times when I'm doing stuff like that, I'm in my zone. Yeah, I am so into whatever the hell I'm doing. You think you're alone? But I was saying there's this other thing. This dad on Instagram, I told you this one, right? This dad on Instagram, they just show him having a cup of coffee on his deck and he goes, when I was 16, I was hot wiring my grandma's car and going for joyrides with my friends at night. He goes, my son's 16, and now I have to go outside and watch him take the garbage can down to the curb because it's a little bit dark out still. And when I showed that to Ethan, we go Luke. So Luke goes, when Luke comes home from school, he goes like this. He opens the door. Mom! Yes. Oh, okay, good. I said, what do you think? I wasn't home? Like, I don't know. He just like, yeah, he can get like that. But then he goes out like a lot at night with the flashlight to go check the battery in the tractor or something. But yes, but Ethan and I said, oh, Luke, yeah. But I could see it. Hey, it's a little bit dark outside. You want to come out while I bring this garbage down? I heard a noise in the woods. So, yeah. But it's funny. I like that guy because he's always saying stuff he was doing when he was a kid. And then there's even this woman. She does it too. She doesn't really say it. Like they just show them doing something like cooking or something. But then she's thinking to herself, and she's like, "When I was 16, my mother didn't even know where I was." Or she's like, I was down and blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, and now my son's 6, or like, and they always have like what their kid is doing. That their kid is so different than they were. Like they were like daredevils and stuff like this. And they're like, their kid is totally the opposite. It's funny. It's funny, but we got to do the word game. I can't believe my husband wants to take me on a road trip tomorrow. I don't know. He says it's not going to snow. I heard that we're going to get snow and bitter cold, but I don't know. I might be on a road trip tomorrow. If I am, I'll try to check in. Go, little lady, go. Urine? What is the little lady going? Where's she going? Go, little lady, go. What do you mean, go, little lady? Where's she going? Oh, she's going to bed? Good night, little lady. Good night, little lady. See you. Good night, little lady. See you. Okay, don't forget tomorrow night, we might have an auction, but we are going to go over those last two. Good night, little lady. We're going to go over those last two interviews too. Don't forget, and if you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. You're going to love it. You're going to love it here. Okay. Requin. Oh. Requine. What is this one? Why is my stomach rumbling? I just had an orange, didn't I? I did. What do you have? Oh, rain. Yeah, you're right. Rune. Yeah. Word. What else did you have? We don't have a Y. Can't do that one. That's okay. Inquire. No, we don't. We need another. We need the good try. Julianne, we need another I. We need another I. What are those big words? That's got to be run. Okay, we got that one. Oh, that's right. Inquire. Very good. Who got that? Who got that? Julianne. Very good. No. Hi. And you got equine. Very good. You both did, yes, very good. Both of you did good job. Very good job. Very good. Now we just need one more. Requin. Up. R-E. Requin, we tried that. Choir, C-Q-U. Did I get that? I already got that. I already got that there, yeah. Let's see. And you're, let's see. Okay, you're both saying that. Very good. Heart and high and low and everywhere to go. Very good. Very good, very good, very good. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. We'll see you tomorrow, I hope. I'll try to be on from the road and stuff. Always check out my shorts. I'll probably put different things from the whatchamacallit, from the interviews and stuff. Go take a look at the ones I have, okay? Everybody, good night. I love you. God bless. Prayers. We'll see you tomorrow. God willing.